Joining us now is Makada Duncanson, and she is a spokeswoman for Black Americans for Trump, and Cory Gordon is the co-leader, one of the founders of Black Americans for Trump. Welcome, both of you, to the program.
Hi, Hannity.
Hello.
Hi, Hannity. Who said that, Cory? You cracked me up.
It's Cory. Hey. I don't know what it's called. You'll call you Sean.
That's all right. Call me whatever you want. I don't care. It really bothers me, and we've seen it in this election cycle already. We have Bill Clinton out there saying, well, I know Donald Trump saying, let's make America great again. Well, we Southerners, we know what that's code for. Meanwhile, I have a tape of him saying, we'll make America great again 1,000,000 times. So I guess he was by his own definition. And then you got Hillary, mentioning the Klan ads and all this nonsense. I just gave you statistics. More than any other demographic group in the country, Black Americans have been hurt under Barack Obama's policies and Hillary Clinton's policies. So my question to you is, do you think the Black community as a whole appreciates the outreach of Trump and understands that things didn't turn out the way they were supposed to under Barack Obama?
Well, Makada, do you want to answer this, or should I go ahead?
Okay.
You can go right ahead.
Okay, well, personally, right now, the Democratic Party has hammered in identity politics with the Black community, and they trigger they use the word racist as like a trigger word. So, like, for example, I can say like the sky is blue, but if the Democratic Party says that's racist, all of a sudden it's just you're back in slavery. They act like they're back in slavery and act like they're picking cotton. You know what I mean?
Well, listen. If what I love about Trump going into Black churches is because I think he has described them accurately. This is where communities are strongest. This is what makes America great. That is the background, the backbone of any community and family. And what he's saying is, together in Flint, Michigan, where they lost 72,000 GM jobs, 72,000.
Yeah.
And he used the line, and he was making a point. It used to be we made cars in Flint, and we couldn't drink the water in Mexico. And now we're making cars in Mexico, and you can't drink the water in Flint. And sadly, it's true. In Detroit, Makada, they're bulldozing entire neighborhoods to consolidate services because entire neighborhoods have been decimated because of bad governance.
Yes, and it's very sad because I've been contacting people in the neighborhood in these inner cities, and they're actually listening when I mention Trump. They're not like, oh no, he's racist, he's xenophobe, but they're like, honestly, Obama hasn't been helping us. We're worse than we were 4 years ago, 8 years ago. It's a change.
We are a lot worse. Yeah.
If you start at this premise, and this is what I particularly like about, I learned a lot about the civil rights movement when I lived in Atlanta. I'll tell you guys this story. So I lived in Atlanta. My first day on the air in 1992, it was just before the election of Bill Clinton. I was welcomed by the mayor at the time, Maynard Jackson, on the air. He called into my show, was a fan of the radio station, invited me to his city. And over the course of the years that I was there, I got to know people like Joe Lowry, and I had many a fight with him, but I loved him. And guys like Andy Young and Maynard Jackson and later Bill Campbell. And I got to know people like Hosea Williams and, really, really wonderful people. And John Lewis and even Cynthia McKinney. I mean, they all knew who I am. And while we disagreed politically, you cannot dismiss the unbelievable courage and bravery that movement showed America at a time of segregation, at a time of, real hostility in this country, when fire hoses are being pointed at people, and they would march, and they made the world a better place because of their courage. I mean, it had a profound impact on me. These guys were amazingly courageous. They're just wrong politically. I used to say this to Lowry all the time, and he used to roll his eyes at me.
But you know what I'm seeing too, Sean? I am seeing right now, like I was saying before, the Black community right now is a little bit triggered, but they're slowly starting to awaken to what the Democratic Party is actually doing to them. And they're actually, a lot of truths have come out in this election. For example, before in school, you're taught that the Democratic Party is a party for the Blacks, and they've always fought for the Blacks. They will say, it's the Republican Party that actually, Abraham Lincoln's a Republican, but the party switched sides, which is a total lie. But now that you actually now people are actually starting to pay attention, actually look at history and saying, wait, this is not true. The Republican Party is the party that's always fought for Black people, and the Democratic Party,
Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson passed the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act. Hillary Clinton's mentor, the person she cites as her mentor, Robert K.
Byrd,
the former Klansman. And he's a former Klansman. Now, no former Klansman is going to be Sean Hannity's mentor. And,
Exactly.
you know, and I'll tell you another thing. And then J. William Fulbright, a known segregationist, that's Bill Clinton's mentor. And when he was governor of Arkansas and it fit his political needs, well, didn't he put up the Confederate flag there in the state of Arkansas? I think he did.
Yes.
He did.
He actually did.
You know, and I'm like, it just
They
pissed.
already told us they're racist, though, with that whole Make America Great thing. Great again, like, comment that he made last week.
It just really, really pisses me off that as a conservative who believes that God created all of us, as a Christian, I believe that the race card is played against my philosophy, my ideology, which is one that believes in the inherent abilities of every human being, that we're all made by the same God, and that the only issues we have is we are wasting so much human potential because of a failed education system, a Democratic Party beholden to that institutionalized failure, and a feeling among Democrats that they can gin up the vote every 4 years just by crying racism against people that aren't racist. Drives me insane. Do you see that, Makada?
Yes. What I've been seeing is that a lot of, especially Black Americans, they've been actually trying to, thrive in this country. And it's pretty hard with all these policies we have in place. Obamacare, everyone's getting taxed. No one can actually start their businesses and actually make change in their communities. So Trump is coming in and actually letting us know that we're not unheard. He's actually giving a voice to the American people to change what's happening in Washington, because the establishment candidates are once again going to put in these policies that it's been hurting Americans for way too long.
I agree. And I think that if I hope the reception is warmly received. There are indications in polls now that Donald Trump could end up getting more of the black vote as a Republican than any of the 8 previous Republican presidential candidates. I'd love to see that.
I personally think he'll get over 30% of the black vote.
You really do? Why do you think that?
Because right now Hillary is starting to talk, and the more she talks, the more like truths come out about them, and the further her poll numbers sink, which we're witnessing right now.
What did you think about her basket of deplorables comment?
Very sad.
I thought that was rich.
Well,
I don't know. If you look at my Twitter handle right now,
clean up and it's not working.
No, it really isn't.
It's not surprising to me. I mean, let's be honest. For the past year and a half, they've been like insulting Trump supporters this entire time with the whole rally thing. Where when you go to a Trump rally, the Trump supporters are getting attacked left and right, like to the point where a woman got egged. People were getting sucker punched at the rally, but yet it's Trump's fault for his supporters getting attacked for exercising their First Amendment right to go support a presidential candidate. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
No.
So it's been happening for a year now. I'm actually just happy that like people are actually starting to get attention, and people are starting to fight against it, and it's actually starting to hurt Hillary Clinton.
I think you're right, and I think also her dishonesty, a lack of truthfulness. Trump made that one statement on birtherism today. Whose campaign started that? It was her campaign, and everybody in the media is saying, "Yeah, I mean, it's amazing."
It's funny. There's a video of Micah Kelly from MSNBC and like a few of her co-hosts talking about how in 2011 how Hillary Clinton was the one who started the birther movement, and I'm pretty sure
you got Mark Penn and Sid Vicious Blumenthal that are mentioned.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, thank you both. We actually are doing a TV special. I'm going to have Linda send your names over to my TV producer, and maybe you guys can join us for that. I'm not going to tell what it is right now. I'd love to have you.
I'd be excited to. Thank you, Sean.
It's gonna be like a town hall setting, or
I'm not telling you everything, because you got to understand. In my business, there are a bunch of very lazy people that have no creative thought process, and all they do is listen to this program and troll for ideas. And as soon as I mention I'm doing something, the next thing I know, they're trying to steal my idea.
Try to claim it as their own, like the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I mean, if they just do their own work, I mean, it's like in school. If you go in and take a test and you did your work, you're all good.
Mm-hmm. Sean, before you go.
Yeah, go ahead. You take over. You question me now. Go ahead. Whatever you want to ask.
No, do you notice that, like, everything Trump says, they go against him, but yet they end up adopting his ideas or something that he said has become fruition? Like, it's happened several times with the whole Belgium thing, the whole NATO thing. Now they cater NATO for terrorism, or even the wall with the Mexican president. Remember that one interview before? I forgot.
Yeah.
I think it was a Dallas shooting where it was Barack Obama and it was the Mexican president speaking about, like, the Mexican president started realizing that Donald Trump could very well be president, and he started backing off, and he started doing, like, I guess, a dog whistle to Trump and saying, "Okay, we will play ball."
Well, that's what they always try and do. I mean, by the way, look, if somebody asks for Sean, look at the birther issue. And this was my only question. I never thought
it was racist, to be honest.
I mean, if somebody says, "Well, where's your birth certificate, Hannity?" I'll say, "Okay, I'll go get it." I was born in Metropolitan Hospital in New York, December 30th, 1961. It's not that hard. I mean, why do we have to wait a year, 2 years for the stupid birth certificate? I mean,
No, and the thing is, they try to pass it off as racism. There's 2 laws in this country in the Constitution that says that you have to be president. You have to be over 35, and you have to be born on our soil. Well, Ted Cruz is I guess he's trying to muddy the water.
Naturalized citizen, right.
But you have to be born in this country.
Let me ask you both this question, because you're both obviously conservative and supporting Trump. How do your friends and family, do they agree with you?
Well, my friends, personally, I've lost them all, but I've actually started to gain some truthers and people that actually want to make change. And since then, my life has propelled in a nice, way where I'm actually, making a change, talking to people, having these conscious conversations and, bringing up the subject that, hey, America needs to be great again. We have to be proud to be American.
Isn't that sad, though? I mean, people you think are your friends, and just because you have a little political disagreement, listen, I got to tell you, I mean, I go to dinner sometimes, and I can sit down at a dinner, and I don't like to go to these dinners. You know how your wife makes you go? Right, Cory? Yeah. You understand this, all right? And so I'll sit down at the dinner table, and somebody I don't know, and I can look in their eye, immediately tell that there's going to be a fight. And then they'll drop their first bomb, and I just sit there, and then they'll drop their second little bomb and see if I react. Then my wife she knows what's coming, and she's like, oh no, she'll either whisper or kick me and say, don't do it. Don't. Stop. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. And I'll let the third one go. But if you're going to keep up, I'm going to finally unload and make you look stupid.
Yeah, in the beginning for my support of Trump, I was actually looking for the debate, because my whole thing is you learn more from opposition than you learn from people agreeing with you, and I like having debates with people that have different views. Yeah, no, I think it's amazing. But I've been able, from the many different debates I've had on Facebook with my family, on Twitter, I'm able to tell between who is actually has before I even start the conversation, who actually hates Trump or has just doesn't policies versus who doesn't like Trump just because of what the media is saying.
You got to remember, these keyboard warriors are really brave in their underwear in their basement, clinging to their teddy bears. All right, I got to run, guys. Listen, I love talking to you. I hope you can make the special. I won't tell you what it is, but we'll tell you privately. Thank you all for being with us.
Appreciate it, Sean. Have a great day.